I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Stuart Fensterheim. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
It is a beautiful morning, but it is a bright early morning for me. It's 5:30 a.m. here in Phoenix, Arizona, or Scottsdale, more accurately.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, so many people I speak to are in my future. It's good to know that I am in your future today.
Yeah, well, I think we're all in everyone's future, don't you think?
Well, yeah, it's intriguing. Well, I'm actually referring to the time zones. Usually I'm speaking. So in the UK, it's they're ahead of me, and then Netherlands is there. So yeah, so it's the fact that you are in the past. Like, oh, I feel good, right?
That's right. We're in future and past at the same time.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. Well, Stuart, please do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us meeting.
I think it's my thirst to connect with people. When we spoke about getting together, one of my passions is really being able to connect with people. I think everyone has a story, and my desire to really interconnect with people and to really help people talk about their story, and I share my story, and really see the commonalities that we all have with each other.
Yeah.
I think that's really what is the talent that I have that allowed me to say, hey, let's get together and really just have a conversation about our life and what we're excited about.
Well, I do appreciate you doing that. Please dig into what you do via your podcast, where you expand on that skill, right, of
Yes.
connecting others in couples.
Yes, I have a podcast called the Couples Expert Podcast. I'm a marriage counselor. And what I have done over the last few years is really have a forum to really be able to share with people the absolute urgency that all of us have to have a relationship with another human being in our life. And by doing that, we can really have a life that only people dream about. And I do that through a number of different mediums. I do that through the Couples Expert Podcast, which is a podcast on iTunes. I have a channel on YouTube where I share marriage tips for folks, where they can learn to take one tip a day of how to have a really incredible relationship with their lives, and also through my website, which is www.thecouplesexperts.com.
Yeah, you said the one a day. I love that. You really need to take it in doses, don't you?
Yes, and I think, if you just think about this, the 5 minutes a day, every day, 5 days a week, and really have that small effort, a daily consistent effort with your partner, you can have a relationship which only certain people just dream about. But it's really in all of our hands, because we can really create that for ourselves, for our partners, and more importantly, for our families.
Well, being deemed a couples expert, I'm guessing there's a few things you learned along the way, right? Mm-hmm. Who did you learn these skills from?
Well, I think my family. When I stand back and think about where did I get this desire to sort of help, and it really has a lot to do with, I think, my own experiences in my family, and also with the people that I have surrounded myself with. And I think one of the things we want to do is make sure that we surround ourselves with people who have healthy relationships, and to be able to really learn, because how we learn how to have a relationship is really what we observe in our lives. And I think that's also the sad part, is that so many people don't understand the importance of connecting with someone else, just like you and I are connecting here today. We're having a connection, and through that connection, we can have this emotional experience with one another that will really fulfill us. And if we have that and we repeat that and share that, how many people in this world can have a life that is just about security and stability, and more importantly, serenity?
doing what you're doing means that you are always needing to fill your cup, right, with information, fill your cup with the practices that you teach. Why will you continue to repeat the skill? Nevertheless, the challenges of doing that.
I think because partly I'll repeat it because it's who I am. I mean, my desire to connect and what I have gotten both personally and professionally, and what I've seen in the couples that I've worked with, and the changes that people have made. People have come into my office in just disarray, really, whether it's an affair, or whether it's, a sex addiction, or whether it's feeling just empty and alone. And when they leave and when they understand that what they have in their hands, and then go off and sort of live their life. And I hear later, we don't always hear at the time we're doing it, but I'll get emails or I'll get people reaching out to me that say, what you offered us just changed our entire world. That we now know that we can do that, just the two of us. We don't necessarily need a counselor, because if you understand that there truly is a blueprint, there really is a map to help people go from this feeling of being absolutely disconnected, and then to really look across the room or see their partner as the one person in the world that cares about them the most, that loves them the most, and that they can count on the most. By having that sort of sense of, I'm not alone in this world. I have one person in this massive world where there are countless people out there. I have come across this one person, and all it takes is one, that we can have a relationship that just changes our entire sense of our relationship. And here's the key, I think. It also changes how you see yourself, because quite often, we see ourselves in our partner's eyes, and that is beautiful.
That's fascinating. Oh, that's beautiful. Love it. All right, Stuart, you're doing an amazing job. Amazing audience. We are live with Stuart Fensterheim, and Stuart is the podcast host of The Couples Expert. Do check that out, right?
Yes, on iTunes, The Couples Expert, or they can go to my website, because I have a page there that takes them right to the Couples Expert podcast. And by the way, my last name is pronounced Fensterheim.
Oh my God!
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
it's a tough
apologies.
one. It's a tough one. It's actually German, and it's window home. I actually love it. It's
Fensterheim. Fensterheim, yeah. Did I get it correct to the beginning of the podcast? I did, right?
Yeah, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And then I shortened it.
Yeah. It's been an interesting life with that name.
I can well imagine. Mine as well, right? Mine as well. Yeah. It's German, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Stuart. Well, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Ooh. Stuart, what are your earliest childhood memory?
I actually have two, and one is a happy one, and one is a not so happy one. The happy one is me and my father and mother and brothers going to Atlantic City, and they always had a carnival. And we would go there and we would have fun and we'd walk along the beach and just really enjoy being together. And it's really about that kind of family connection. The not so happy one, which really I think changed my life more than anything, is my parents divorced when I was about 8 years old. And I have this image in my head of my father lying on a couch. And my father was a dentist, and he was someone that was not very emotional, and he was a mess. He was lying on the couch. I have this image of his hand over his head, and just really being incredibly sad. And that was, I believe that was I'm not quite clear in terms of the memory, but I believe that was the day that he left the home. And how those two things have really changed me is really about, it's the passion that I have for helping others not have an experience like that. The pain and anguish that sort of I work with every single day of couples coming in disarray, in a sense of just feeling this dark loneliness, is really why I am so excited about what I do. you would think that might be something that would say, oh God, that's heavy. People ask me all the time, how do you do this? How do you sit in an office every day listening to this pain? Because what I see is an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity to help people never have an experience like that. And that changed me both personally, professionally, and in everything I do. The passion I feel for life, I know we can have and erase that kind of pain.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Sure, I would love it.
How old were you?
I was 8.
Yeah, it's really intriguing to me. Everything that you said, I totally agree with it for what it's worth. I'd like to add something though. It's really, and fascinating is my key word, right? So it's really fascinating that your father took the time to rest in his thoughts before he made a decision. And I think that is a space that you are helping individuals with. Despite his decision being one that probably left the family in pain. Most definitely did, right? It's comforting to some level to know that he rested in his decision making first. It wasn't sporadic. It wasn't, I'm angry and I'm leaving. He stopped. And that is intriguing, that you are helping others with that now. Because it's not always stay together, right? Sometimes the decision ends up being, hey, separation is necessary. So, yeah, just wanted to add that, Stuart.
You know what? That's beautiful. I really love that interpretation in so many different ways, because that really is, my father is in his 90s right now. And I have a very close relationship, and our family really was able to sort of grow from that experience. And that is one of the lessons I believe he's taught me, and I teach people who come into my office, because so many people come in with this quick thing. It's an emotional experience, says, all right, I'm done, we're finished. Yeah. And part of my job is to slow them down.
Love it.
And he did that.
He did that.
And I learned that from him, and I have taught that to these people. Imagine what we've changed as a result of his experience and me just being part of that. So I want to just thank you for that insight.
You're welcome. Well, Stuart, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
I don't know if I want to say it.
You should go. Let's hear it.
No, I'm joking. It's because I'm 62, right. So it's going to age me quite a bit. The Monkees, right. I'm a believer.
Yeah. Well, it definitely connects, right? You're definitely a believer. You're the guy that believes, hey, you can make it. You're a believer. I'm a believer. I love it. Hey, well, still, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Stuart, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, the world. Real quick, but I believe that the skills that I have is why the lack of connection is why so often we hear all this tragedy in people's lives and people who are totally disconnected doing these awful things. So I think I'm passing it on both to the world, but more importantly, to be more sort of serious, I'm serious about that, but to my children. And I think that's what we have when we can really have a connected relationship with our partners. Our children get to see that, and they'll teach it to their children, and it just can change the world.
How many children do you have, Stuart?
I have 2 children, 2 daughters, one who's now 22 and one who's 19.
And are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Yes, I do.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours?
Well, I do podcasting, and I do. So the answer is yes, because of podcasting and editing and writing and it's both personal and professional. So yes.
All right, Stuart, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is yours. It stands for your own unique real self. Connected to that, as you dig deeper, is your own unique real statement, your mission. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Stuart Fensterheim, right?
There you go. You got it. Yes.
What would you say that is?
My own unique statement would be authentic, take risks, love, live your life, and be kind, and stay connected.
Love it. Hey, Stuart, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Just that I think, our world needs more people who are connected, and make that important in your life. Check out my couples expert podcasts. I bring experts, and I really share the things that all of us need to do to really have that kind of connection in your life. It's really worth taking the time, slowing down, as we talked about a moment ago, and really looking at your partner, who they truly are, not with the injuries that perhaps the two of you have created without knowing that you've created these relationship injuries, and that you can heal those if you do it together.
Stuart Fensterheim, hey, this was a great pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you again, Angel.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.